right here. Welcome to APUSH History News.
You didn't follow the plan.
I'm sorry.
Why didn't you follow the plan?
Can we not do this in front of the camera, please? Can we just...
We're done. Good morning, America, and welcome to APUSH News at Home. My name is Bridget Bumblebee.
And my name is Lucy Pennywhistle. Today we will be discussing America's top 10 most influential books. All throughout our country's history, books have made a significant impact on the way we see the world around us, stimulating actions such as the formation of new government ideals, the inspiration of movements, and have even caused wars.
Let's start this list off at number 10. This book can be found in any standardized high school English classroom. Illustrating the life of the 1920s, The Great Gatsby is known for its outstanding use of imagery and detail, becoming one of the most well-known books of its century. It is written by the critically acclaimed novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald. Published in April of 1925, let's talk to the author himself to get a better understanding of the book and its impact.
We have traveled all around the country to find and talk to the outstanding authors that wrote these books. I'm here with the genius himself, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Hello, Mr. Fitzgerald. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm very pleased that you asked me to come speak with you today. I almost did not come because I do not enjoy the attention from my book, but I decided to come anyway so that I can share the future generations the significance of my novels.
Well, thank you for coming. So first off, let's start with an easy question. Can you give a brief synopsis of the novel?
Well, first off, I'd like to begin by saying that my novel is a accumulation of more than 50,000 words, less than 50,000 words, I apologize. A story of secret visions and gaudy revels, of sudden violence and constant envy shimmers with a magic that I hope readers will remember long after they have finished.
Oh, that is so thoughtful. Okay, now tell us about the effect your book has. Did it have as much of an effect as yours before?
In actuality, I was very surprised by the impact of my novel on the generation subsequent to mine. I believe that my novel represents the idea of the American dream. Certain characters such as Daisy represents the idea of old money, whereas Gatsby and Nick I placed in the novel to represent the dream that most immigrants and even natives desire. My novel can be used in many situations to describe a number of morals of life, and this is why I'm glad that I pursued writing the book even though I knew I would receive some criticism for it.
Thank you, Fitzgerald, for taking your time out of your day, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Stop, thank you.
So how was your time with the author of The Great Gatsby?
It was very informative. He is a very interesting person. Okay, so that was number 10 on our list. Now we are continuing on to number 9, Leaves of Grass. Leaves of Grass is a book written by the American poet Walt Whitman. Originally released in 1855, it was a collection of 12 poems, then growing into a hefty book of 389 poems. Originally paying for the printing himself, Whitman was a self-taught writer, inspired by the work of Homer, Dante, and Shakespeare. These poems were significant due to their representation of the Transcendentalist movement. They also significantly influenced American poetry, as Whitman was able to openly analyze his views and opinions of American culture. Quoted from the Whitman Archive, his work can be defined as being groundbreaking, open, inclusive, and optimistic poems written in long, sprawling lines that span an astonishing variety of subject matter and points of view, embodying the democratic spirit of a new America.
You just saw our pick for number 9, now on to number 8. Now we are here with Rachel Carson, biologist and author of Silent Spring. How are you in the environment doing, Miss Rachel Carson?
I'm doing great, however, I can't say the same about the environment. My book, originally released on September 27, 1962, was made in order to document the effects of DDT, a killer pesticide, on bird life and the surrounding ecosystems. I made this book with the intent to raise awareness on our negative impact on nature. Thankfully, because of my book, I was able to galvanize the modern environmental movement prevalent during the 1970s.
Wow, that's amazing. Back to the studio.
That was really interesting stuff, Lucy. Next on our list, taking the 7th spot, are the Federalist Papers. Let's hear a quick synopsis of its history and impact.
Alexander joins forces with James Madison and John Jay to write a series of essays defending the new United States Constitution entitled the Federalist Papers.
The Federalist Papers consist of 85 articles written by James Madison, John Jay, and Hamilton wrote the other 51! These essays help to promote the ratification of the United States Constitution by illustrating the need for a more perfect union. Federalism, checks and balances, separation of powers, and the representation of the people are also other topics this book covers. As the website called Grade Saver explains, it is the outstanding American contribution to the literature on constitutional democracy and federalism, and a classic of Western political thought. It is by far the most authoritative text concerning the interpretation of American Constitution and an insight into the framers' intent. The 6th place goes to The Jungle. We're going to speak with the author, Upton Sinclair.
Can you tell me more about your book, why you wrote it, and what historical significance it has made?
I would be honored.
Okay.
The Jungle is a piece written after I took a trip to a local meat processing plant. Originally traveling there to write about the immoral treatment of immigrants, I instead found much more. There I was greeted by the disgusting smell inside of rotten, infested meat. Appalled by this, I wrote the book detailing my experiences and the horrific fact that they were serving this food to us on a daily basis. After the release of my book, the public was shocked, thus leading to the necessary food safety laws, more specifically, the Pure Food and Drug Act. Does this answer your question?
Most certainly. Thank you for your time, Mr. Sinclair.
Wow,
Mr. Sinclair.
Now we're getting really close to the number 1 spot. We're moving on to number 5, Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedman.
This book's inspiration came from Friedman's growing restlessness after the birth of her 3rd child and the loss of her job. Her life at home ignited her curiosity for other women's thoughts on their domestic lives. She felt that a woman's purpose was not found in the kitchen, but in the real world, just like that of men. Publishing her opinions in the year of 1963, the book was immediately grasped the attention of many women, inspiring them to seek new opportunities. After catching the eyes of many, Friedman continued this movement by helping to create change in her community. Due to this book, the National Organization for Women was founded in 1966, led by Betty Friedman herself. Credited with the help of the feminine mystique, the second wave of feminism began, a new surge of independence emanating from each woman of America. Next up is How the Other Half Live. Taking 4th place, this book was written by Jacob Riis. Let's speak with him now.
So now we're here with the man himself, Jacob Riis, to discuss his opinion on his book. So how are you? And describe the book for us, please.
I'm doing very well, thank you, Lucy. My book can be described as a collection of pictures that describe what it's like to live in another world for everyday people to see.
Wow, that's amazing. Such a great purpose. Now tell us what the most important thing about your book for us to know is, please.
Well, the most important thing in my book is that it's opened the eyes of the upper class and the natives of America. It was a catalyst for government action in the right direction towards improving the standard of living. These new policies helped immigrants like me and Alexander Hamilton. It feels great to know that I helped millions of people, and hopefully I'll help millions more. Thank you.
The next book on the list is Uncle Tom's Cabin.
This book was published in a local newspaper from June 5th to April 1st, 1852. Written by Harry Beecher Stowe, this novel was constructed in order to capture the attention of non-slaveholders, giving them a glimpse of the true reality of slavery. Although the Civil War was a result of multiple social divides, this book was able to jumpstart the discussion of banning slavery. As Lincoln once said, "This book was responsible for the start of the Civil War." This was caused by Stowe's ability to interwork the characters' feelings and thoughts about the future of slavery and slaves' never-ending pain that they experienced non-stop. Next up, we're going to discuss The Social Contract, written by Mr. Russo. It is the second to the last book we're going to discuss tonight. Mr. Russo, can you hear me?
Okay. Hi, I'm here with Mr. Russo. Can you tell me about yourself and what book you wrote and why you wrote it?
Well, yes, about myself, I am Russo. That is true. I did write this book to remind the readers.
What book is this?
Oh, this is The Social Contract.
Thank you.
Can I continue?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Well, I'd like to begin by talking about the purpose of this book. I wrote this text to stress the freedom of citizens of America as a whole. The definition of a social contract is protection and benefits provided by the government in exchange for certain freedoms of the citizens. If and once, I repeat, and once, these citizens are dissatisfied with the conditions presented by their government, it is their responsibility to show their responsibility. once like their responsibility. Okay, to show their discontent by overthrowing the government. In simple words, this book reminded the readers of their power to enforce popular sovereignty.
Thank you. Continuing on to the next question. Do you believe, from your perspective, you accomplished your goal in writing this book?
I do very well believe I did accomplish my goal because it reached the people and they now know the definition of popular sovereignty. And without this book, I do believe that many would not have recognized the power they held within their government because the government is run by the people. And if the people are not satisfied, there is no country, you know? I do believe that's the true definition of this book. And,
Well, thank you. I'm going to cut you off here because we're running short on time.
okay, nothing. But okay, thank you.
Thank you, and have a nice day, Mr. Rizzo.
Yeah, whatever.
Continuing. We're done.
Commercial break!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Right
you
before
could have
our
been anywhere
number
in the
one
world
book.
tonight, but you're here with us in New York City. Are you ready for a cabinet meeting, huh? The issue on the table. Secretary Hamilton's plan to assume state debt and establish a national bank. Secretary Jefferson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you to our sponsors, Panera. Buy their chips.
Yeah,
They're
we've been here for like 5
They're
hours. This is
tasty.
the only reason we're doing this. 5 hours
So long.
at this place.
Really
They put
crunchy.
up
People
with
have
us.
been
They're
looking
really
at us
crisp,
coming and,
and they
go.
have extra
You got
salt
look at these people getting up.
to
Zoom
add
in,
to
zoom in
your
on those
fat.
people. Zoom in on those people.
Okay, we're done.
Now for the number one book on our list. Can I have a drum roll, please? Common Sense, written by the best Thomas Paine.
Ah, thank you, Lucy. I remember January 9th, 1776 like it was yesterday.
Why did you initially write the book?
Well, it all started around the time of the American Revolution. I wanted to give facts to the people to prove that Americans should revolt for their freedom against the tyranny of Britain.
How did you manage to get all the Americans on board?
I appealed to the common man by using colloquial verse, uniting both the views of the politicians and what you modern people call average Joes. The atmosphere of tension that once only affected those who had the courage to speak now is changing into the achievable reality that almost all desired. That my pamphlet was able to impassion America's case for action, moving the American Revolution forward.
You're a genius. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our segment on the top 10 most influential books in American history.
Tune in next week for the top 10 reasons Henry Clay is the best.
Easy, young man.
Go. That is all for APUSH News.
This is me out of hand. Instead of me, he promotes Charles Lee, makes him second in command. I'm a general.
The next book on the list is Uncle Tom.
Tim. To last, we are going to discuss Tim. Can you hear me, Mr. Russo? Hello, and yes, just oh, that's Russo's part.
Hello, and yes, just fine.
We're so honored to have you here today. Shall we begin?
Modern Americans
large
and your delicious
8-topping pizza for $7.99.
Okay, we're starting over.
Violence and constant
It's raining, guys.
constant FC. Is that right there?
It's not
Pause
raining.
it.
It's raining.
It's protection and benefits for. I'm explaining my book. If you could
The
just.
definition of a social
What's so funny? What's so funny?
Your accent.
What accent? Do I look like I'm French? Do I? If anything, I look Mexican more than French. What? If anything, I look Mexican more than French. What? Well, I'd like to begin.
Stop
We're
it.
talking about.
Now for the number one book on our list. Can I have a drum roll, please?
Oh, okay, my bad. Again.
She's
APUSH News at 9. Woo!
What comes next? You've been freed. Do you know how hard it is to lead? You're on your own. Awesome. Wow.